Hello, today I will tell you why Christians are allowed to eat pork and Muslims and Jews are totally prohibited from eating this delicious meat. And what you can see here is a piece of sheep. This is a sheep's leg and these are sheep ribs and also piece of beef. These are all meats that Muslims or Jews can eat. But if you wonder why they cannot eat pork, I will explain it today. Because it's quite weird. These all three religions came from one roof, from Bible, from Old Testament. But two of them cannot eat pork and one can. Why is that? First of all, let's see what Torah says about eating pork. In Leviticus, in chapter 11, the Torah lists the characteristics of clean, kosher animals. They must have split hoofs and chew the cud. Although the pigs has split hoofs, it does not chew the cud, and it's therefore considered an unclean animal. The text states that no one can eat its flesh or touch its carcass. And now let's see why pigs cannot be eaten by Muslims. What Quran says. Surah Al-Baqarah lists pork among the forbidden haram foods, along with carrion, blood and the flesh of animals slaughtered without invoking God's name. It adds, however, that in situation of extreme necessity, when death by starvation is imminent, the sin is forgivable. But why they were unable to eat it? What was the real reason behind this religious rule? In fact, there were two reasons why it was convenient for them to prohibit eating pork. First was biological, and second was economical. The first reason was bacteria E. coli and Salmonella. These bacteria very easily found a very good place to thrive in warm climate in a pork meat. It's very hard to preserve pork from spoiling by these bacteria, and these bacteria cause very bad sicknesses. So as they don't know about bacteria, but they saw the consequences of eating this spoiled food, they come up with idea that pork as a whole is spoiled and you should never try to eat it. And of course they saw the sickness as a punishment from the God. And second reason is more economic. Pigs need a lot of wheat and a lot of water to grow properly. And in contrast, goats or sheep can thrive on semi-desert terrains of Middle East. So pigs were very hard to raise in this climate, so it was not efficient to breed them. So they preferred goats and sheep. And also some cattle was also well adapted to this dry climate, so cattle was also accepted, and cattle was a big source of milk also. So it was very important. They could not prohibit eating cattle because it was a very important source of meat. But pig wasn't so important in the Middle East, and therefore it was easy to ban this kind of meat. But why Christians are allowed to eat meat from pigs? Mark chapter 7. Are you so foolish? Do you not understand that nothing that goes into a man from outside can defile him? Therefore he declared all foods clean. And further, in Acts chapter 10, Saint Peter had a vision where God shows him various animals and says, "Kill them and eat them." When Peter protests, being a good Jew, saying that he has never eaten anything unclean, he hears the answer from the God, "What I have made clean, you do not call unclean." 1 Timothy chapter 4. For everything created by God is good, and nothing is to be rejected if it is received with thanksgiving, because it is sanctified by the word of God and prayer. So, as you can see, very early in Christian tradition, they allowed eating this kind of food. And also there was second reason, because Christianity very rapidly expanded north. And facing north people, they faced their culinary cuisine, their habits. And eating pork was very, very important in North cultures. For example, in Germanic cultures and in Slavic cultures. Because where winter is hard, the fat from the pork is very important to deliver a good amount of fat and calories to sustain during winter. So they cannot ban pork, which was very important source of calories for the long north winters. And that's why they allowed it for these new believers, for Germans, for Slavic people. So because if they would strictly ban pork, I think Christianity could not spread north, because pork was so important for them. And without pork, these people, even if someone wants to be Christian and give up pork, they could be much weaker than other people who eat pork, and that's why they could not expand. As you can know, expansion of Christianity was it was very often violent, so they need power to fight with pagans. So without pork, they could not be so strong and so successful in fighting pagans. So that's why pork is today accepted in Christian world and not accepted in Muslim and Jewish communities. This is quite amazing that these ancient rules are so important even today, and they split humanity. On the one side, people who eat pork, and on the other side, people who don't. And they keep with this tradition for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Thank you very much for watching. It was Ziemowit about history, and I hope to see you in next movie.